Oh boy, come on in. Oh, come on in. Oh man. Shout out to wherever you at right now. If you're listening, you could be on Facebook. We going live on Facebook. You could be on Twitter. You can see me on Twitter right now. We on live on Twitter. And you can check me out on the barbershop. You know where that is. Shout out to all my barbershop people watching on YouTube right now. Come on in. This is the real talk version. I always tell people, man, I always give them the speech. This platform ain't for everybody. Sometimes if you want me to, you want somebody to sugarcoat it and make you feel better about the loss, there's a lot of other people out there that can give you that, make you feel good and warm and fuzzy inside about this L. But if you're a real Browns fan like me, this is a tough one. Let's start off by saying this. And I want to start off by saying this off bat. When you in this business and when you in this game and you call people out, you gotta be tough enough to take that L. And shout out to CJ Stroud. I said on live TV, CJ Stroud got a library card. And he sure gave me that library card back right here. He sure gave me that library card back. And he got us up out of there. He got us up out of there in a different type way. And I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. I don't run from nobody. You know what I do. I'm G. Bush. I'm leader of the Kool-Aid Mafia. But I'm a slow clap for CJ Stroud today because he played like a young goat. He came in there and he was poised. They had a great game plan. They knew what they wanted to run. He wasn't flustered. He didn't duck. He didn't dodge. He stood in there and did what he needed to do. Will Anderson, I told you, my good man, that you still a young bucky. You live with your parents. I just got an email saying that your parents' house is better than my house. You're right. You're right. Your parents' house is probably better than my house. Slow clap. You got off blocks. You was disruptive. You made Flacco move around. You was in the running game. You did what you needed to do in the run game. 156 people, 154, whatever the case is, they hit that like button. You did exactly what you needed to do today. And I congratulate you. Today, the Cleveland Browns got beat in all phases. They were not better coaching. They were not better in special teams. Flacco was not better than CJ Stroud. Myles Garrett was outplayed by the rookie. He was outplayed by Will Anderson. They were better on offense. They were better on defense. They executed more. And by the way, they put that 45-14 whooping on us, and it could have been worse. We could have got the gravy poured on us. We could have got 60 put on us if they was really wanting to be cute about it. Word to Mark D. G. Bush, they put the gravy on you. 45-14. And let me just tell y'all something, man. Let me just get this out here in the open. And this ain't for everybody. The Cleveland Browns had a magical, magnificent season. You know, we could have ducked and been folded up after Nick Chubb took an L. We could have been ducked and dodged and out of here when Deshaun Watson went down. But let me just give you something. Let me give you something. When I fight, I love the fight that they got, and they had a valiant effort. I love what they did. They didn't play well today. Joe Flacco, Cinderella story is over. But they kept fighting. That's no knock on them. But let me just say something. Because I thought that the Browns had as good a chance as any to go to the Super Bowl. But sometimes you got to seize the opportunity. And today it looked like the Cleveland Browns was just happy to be in the playoffs. It looked like they was happy enough to be there. It looked like they was just looking around like, oh, we're in the playoffs. We didn't, look like, and another team looked like they seized the day. You see, the Browns had the Cinderella stuff on their back. The Browns had the Cinderella narrative. But then you started playing the Texans. And then the Texans realized, we at home. We the underdog, really. And we ain't got nothing to lose. And it flipped. I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed in what they was taught, what the way they came out and played. And it was the defense. It wasn't the offense that had me salty. It wasn't the offense that got me outside of what I was talking about. I knew Flacco will throw you a couple, then them picks was terrible. And we'll get to those picks later on in this program, but them picks was trash. But the defense was terrible. We're going to have to reevaluate some things. Greg Newsome, you need to go to a camp. Somebody send that man to a Nike camp or a IMG Academy camp. These dudes came in and victimized. They were like, listen, you know what we're going to do? That number 0 over there, we got something for him. They switched Nico Collins, put him in the slot, and was like, you think you can cover him? This guy was getting turned around like he was getting like he was playing that game. Remember that game, Beyblade, where they used to rip it and you turn around like this? I'm like, what the heck is Greg Newsome doing? And why do you have all that up underneath your helmet? He has a ski mask on under there, a fitted hat. He had a ski mask, a do-rag, and a toboggan. And I'm like, no wonder you can't cover. You too top heavy. Boy, he couldn't get hands on nobody. Free releases. I mean, these guys look like they was out there playing 7-on-7. I'm like, where the heck is Denzel playing? They're like, we're not going to isolate Nico Collins on Denzel Ward. You thought we were going to do that? No. Because we found who we want to victimize. Let's start with the lower numbers. Since we got to number 0, let's get to number 1. Juan Thornhill. Let me talk to you, Juan. You might have been fool's gold. You did a good. You fooled a lot of cats. You did. You fooled a lot of cats, Juan. I don't know what your skill set is. You just have a good number. They figured that out on tape too. They were sitting back like this. Oh, we got another one, coach. Oh, we do? Yeah, that number 1, him. Let's isolate him too. Because I don't think you know how to play zone coverage. You don't. Every time you really play zone coverage, you're lost in the sauce. And you take bad, terrible angles to tackle the football. You're not a really fast guy. You don't really have great ball skills. You don't really tackle people, and you get lost in coverage. And you're under 200 pounds. That's not good. If you're under 200 pounds and you can't do none of the there's like 0 and 1. We circled them, coach. Squeegee, squeegee, squeegee. Squeegee, squeegee. Elephant in the room. Elephant in the room. Myles Garrett, bro. I'm going to have to hear this all off season again, ain't I? This is why they do that to you, dog. This is why they do this. Because they going to forever circle TJ Watt, Micah Parsons, Max Crosby, all of them dudes. Because we get to games like this and there's no production. There's none. There was no production. We can't. Laramie Tunsil was out of the game. There was no production. And sometimes you can say I'm getting doubled. Sometimes you can say that. I get that. But when it comes to playoff atmosphere, playoff time, you got to pick up the mantle and say, put that on me. You know what I also noticed too? Why is Alex Wright the one pulling y'all up on the sideline? If you're in the chat right now, let me know, did you see the same thing I did? When they let them run down the field on a tight end screen, why is Alex Wright bringing the veterans up, talking about what we need to be doing, reading everybody the riot act? What? Alex Wright? There was no Taki, Zadarius Smith, Myles Garrett. Y'all got C's on your chest for a reason. That don't stand by, that C don't stand for complicit. C stands for captain. C don't stand for crawl. It stands for captain. C don't stand for coward. It stands for captain. And you got 91. Alex Wright over here talking about this is unacceptable. This is trash. We can't do this. They was running anything they wanted to. Anything they wanted. Don't see I got that song? You can have whatever you like. You can have whatever you like. These dudes running sweeps, tosses, and I repeat, they could have got 60 because they missed a dude wide open over the middle. Schultz missed a pass. It was easy money. And CJ Stroud just kept walking back to the bench. Like, yeah, G. Bush, how's about that library? In his head, because you don't even talk. Same blank stare. How's about that library card now? How's about call me library card kid now? Where's the library card out? Boy, I haven't got to the good players yet. There was only one. Screw it. Let's get to it. Only player that showed up today was JOK. Only player that showed up and did anything was JOK. JOK played like a little baby Ray Lewis today. He was in the backfield. He was reading. They couldn't block him. He was sideline to sideline. JOK was the truth. JOK did his thing. But besides that, nobody else came to play. They didn't come to play. Nobody came to play. They came to play like Joe Flacco's ring was going to elevate him to the championship. It wasn't. That's not what it was. 235 people. I don't know where y'all looking at. Hit the like button or something. I don't care. If you watch it on Facebook, you watch it on YouTube, you watch it on Twitter. But, for me, this season, the season's not a loss. I'm not sitting up here talking about the season as a wash. But the thing that you take from anything that you do in life is an evaluation. You need to take what you did well. You need to look at what you did poorly, and you need to come up with a game plan to fix it. And I want everybody to remember the feeling you have in your stomach right now. Like you got gut punched. You kind of woke up. You're going to wake up hungover tomorrow. Understand this. I'm just going to say this right now because every offseason we got to keep doing it. And every offseason we do it, we got the same people saying the Cleveland Browns have some deficiencies. We need some wide receivers, guys. We need some guys that can get downfield, guys. And whether y'all want to believe it or not, what hurt most of y'all, see, this is where I'm going to lose some people. Let me drink my water first. Hold on. Let me get a sip of this water. You might want to get some water too, because I'm going to go in a little bit. This is where I'm going to lose some people. This is where I'm going to lose some people. See, there's a group of people that thought this was going to be a prelude into saying that there was going to be a Deshaun Watson situation where there was some sort of controversy over the offseason, where there was going to be a decision that needed to be made because Flacco played so well. He could have got you to the AFC Championship, maybe the divisional round, maybe even the Super Bowl. And I still think Flacco could have done that if the stars were all aligned. But you were hoping that Joe Flacco would make you not make a decision or have to go back to Deshaun Watson. See, this is why I be CG Bush, this is why they don't like you, why you ain't mainstream. So you thought this was going to be a thing where you could have the controversy spill over and you could just disregard Deshaun Watson and say, no, we don't need him. The trade was a disaster. It's horrible. Let's go ahead and roll with Joe Flacco. I'm still all for bringing Flacco back to be a backup, by the way. I still want to sign him in a contract. But what you found out today was this. Those two interceptions were devastating. The one pick he threw, I know he's trying to get out of bounds. You can't throw that pick. At that time, you're only down 10 points. You're down 10 points, you're driving. If they at least get a field goal in that situation inside the 30, you could still be down by 7. You can't throw that ball. And then to come back and throw another pick 6, the game's over at that point, right? And this doesn't diminish anything that Joe Flacco has done for this city and done for this team. I salute this man. What he did was miraculous. I've never seen anybody anything like that. But what it does show is this. On the other end of the spectrum, you see CJ Stroud, right? When you got young guys like that dealing, when you got young guys like that throwing the football, you have to say, you need one of those. You need one of those guys. CJ Stroud showed you the levels today. And listen, he proved it to me. He showed you levels. When you got one of them dudes like that, you can play against anybody. So my thing is this. If you thought you were going to discard Deshaun Watson, if you thought that Deshaun Watson was going to somehow be magically jettisoned out of the city, if you thought Deshaun Watson was not going to be a focal point, ladies and gentlemen, you are on the raft. Deshaun Watson is still the captain. And when he is the captain of this ship, I am the captain of this ship. Just like they told they told Tom Hanks, I am the captain of this ship. You're gonna have to hope Deshaun Watson is that thing. I'm gonna keep it real because there's levels to it. You saw you saw what he did against Baltimore, right? You saw what he did against Baltimore. See, but the realization is that a lot of people was hoping that they didn't even have to open that can of worms. They didn't want to have to say Deshaun Watson is a starting quarterback. They did not want to get back into that huddle and say Deshaun Watson, we're leaning upon him. But that's what you're gonna need. Because to be truthful, that's your best shot of winning these type of games. Because here's the thing. I don't even think the offense played really bad today. The defense just let them down. But here's the thing. Deshaun Watson can do some special things. He's shown that in his past. He can do some special things. And that's going to be a part of it. They need a receiver. We'll see what Chubb is going to provide next year if he's healthy. Our offensive line is still in flux. Everybody's injured. So this is going to be a very interesting offseason. Cap space is going to be at a premium. So we're going to have to find some guys. Draft is going to be important. They need to get better in a lot of places. Linebacker is a position. I don't know if you could come back with Anthony Walker. He's been injured the 3 years he's been here. Taki is nice. Fields is not a starting linebacker. We have to find one of those. JOK, I think, is going on his way to being a stud. Juan Thornhill, I don't know what they offered him and what his contract looked like. I just ain't seen enough for him. I like Grant Delpit. He'll be back. Greg Newsome, he is not an outside corner. He better get used to playing in the slot and liking the slot. He is not an outside corner at all. I mean, the way that they came in and just said, we're going at you, something gonna have to give. Something gonna have to give. All right, well, we've been talking a whole lot. There's 278 comments in here. So let's get to some of your comments. Let's see what you think about it. Because, we out here, it's going to be a nice offseason, man. Let's get to some super chats. I do see some in here. We appreciate all super chats, man. People say, G. Bush, where you been at, man? Listen, a lot of people don't know. Like, I have a throat condition where sometimes my throat just bleeds. And so I don't have a voice all the time. So there's a lot of things that I'm trying to navigate, save my voice here, try to do things. But I got so many shows sometimes that by the time I get to the barbershop stuff, my stuff is I just don't have a voice. So, but even with today, I did the pregame show. I did 4 hours on radio, came back, did the postgame show, did a halftime show, and we right here. I just didn't want to finish the season like we did and me not talk to the people on what I thought, my thoughts on this game and putting a bow on this season the right way. So let's keep going. I'm going to get to some of the beginning comments. Let's see. Let's get to Let me make sure I can see this on here. Some super chats. One moment. Where we at? Where's the first one, man? Nicole D. I've been following the Browns for over 30 years. Tonight was embarrassing. I'm tired of never seeing them win anything significant. That's very I think we all feel like that a little bit. But the only thing that gives me pause a little bit, Nicole, is if I told you we got back Nick Chubb, and I told you that, we had our offensive line in, the number one offensive line, or if I told you we had, our starters back, I think you would feel much better because just one or two of those guys can make a big difference. You got to think about it. Those guys were those tackles we playing, they're not NFL tackles. I mean, we're out there with David Bell and Harrison Bryant. We're not out there with no top flight, people. So if the Browns can make some adjustments and get their starters back, I think that this might have been a different story. But as constituted, I don't think if the Browns played the Texans 100 times, they might get smoked 90 times. I just think the Texans came out and played a much better game than the Browns. Tyvis Powell says, go Bucks. I don't know if that's fair, Tyvis. You can't be on the Browns radio network talk about go Bucks because CJ Stroud lit us up a little bit. That's your man. Newsom. You're right. Borarquez field position game all day was terrible. I feel as a blue collar guy that our body money players got paid and they didn't seem to interested in leaving it all on the field. Listen, Joseph, I didn't see much fire, man. That was the disappointing part to me. I didn't see the fight. I didn't see the fire. I didn't see the relentlessness. I didn't see JOK looked like he was out there by himself. Like he's being demonstrative, and I saw nobody make an effort to be like, let me go play at that speed. Let me play at that level. No, I didn't see none of that. I saw a lot of followers today. I didn't see no leaders, man. No leaders today. Zero. Benny Clark, thank you so much for the super chat. Who can we trade for Marvin Harrison Jr.? It's crazy that I was really on doing some dumb stuff a couple weeks ago and was really trying to be in the time machine trying to figure out how we can do that. I mean, good gracious, I'd love to get him, man. We need a receiver in the worst way. We just do, man. And Joe Flacco, I mean, he was putting it on some of the receivers that we had, but it's hard having David Bell, who I thought played a really good game today. It's hard having the David Bells of the world with nobody over top that can get you up out of there. We real small. We real small at receiver, man. A Dubs Sigma says, let's be honest, G. The D let us down. Flacco's supposed to be to complement the defense, not the other way around. Flacco did his jobs. Thanks, Flacco and Watson. Let's go. I agree with that. The defense is supposed to be stellar. The defense is supposed to be the top defense in the league. The defense is supposed to lead you and get turnovers and sacks. Not one sack today, boys and girls. Not one. Not one turnovers today, boys and girls. Not one. When your best unit or your best player doesn't produce, you're done. Let's go. Let's see. Blackwater Banks, what up, G? Where we go from here? Well, this is the funny thing about the Cleveland Browns. It almost seems like this year don't even count. You know why this year don't even count? Because you still didn't see enough of Deshaun Watson. You still didn't see, you didn't get nothing from Chubb. DeJuan Jones, season. Jedrick Wills, season. Jack Conklin, season. My thing is, the big question is, what are you going to do with Jack Conklin? Because DeJuan Jones is going to start. So does that mean Conklin is your swing tackle? Or y'all just going to put him in motion like Harris did this year? We'll figure that out. Maybe just keep him on the side. What are you going to do with Zadarius Smith? I was disappointed in his production this year. I was disappointed in Zadarius. He was MIA today. Where the heck was Zadarius Smith? Where was he? Didn't see him. Maurice Hurst was hurt for the year. Are you going to bring him back? Shelby Harris is on a 1-year deal. Are you bringing him back? So there's a lot of guys. We need another linebacker, maybe a couple of them. What you going to do with Juan Thornhill? I hope he don't got no dead cap money, because I was not very impressed. I was not impressed by Juan Thornhill at all. And Greg Newsome, that was disappointing. That was, I mean, I thought we was better than that. That was disappointing with Newsome, man. Gregory George, 1 times 0 equals 0. That was Thornhill and Newsome today. Yeah, man. Rube Dog said, "Gee, how will we feel if the Texans lose the next game? Is CJ that good?" We just got outcoached. We did. I think Schwartz got outcoached. I think Stefanski got outcoached. And that's not to say that they didn't do a good job in the majority of the year. But what I mean by they got outcoached was the Texans made an adjustment that said, if you want to beat the Cleveland Browns, one thing that you have to do is you have to really, you can't go against the whole defense. You got to isolate somebody. Have you ever seen lions, hunting in the pack, and there's a bunch of zebras or gazelles or whatever game that they hunting? You notice the lions really don't mess with the fast, strong, big game. They're like the big gazelles with the biggest horns or the biggest zebras, because they could get hurt. As a predator, if you get hurt trying to mess around, trying to eat, that means that forbids you from eating for the rest of you, the weak link now, because now you can't even hunt. So what they do is they don't go against the whole herd. They isolate the weak one. They isolate the young calf. They isolate the calf or the zebra that got a bad leg, or the zebra that get caught that's by the watering hole with no help. So they go after the weak link. And they found that if you go after the weak link and you playing pressure defense, pressure gonna bust. Pipes will bust. They're looking for the weak link. And when you look at Greg Newsome and how they was victimizing and going after him play after play after play, that means that they've scouted you. And one of the biggest things that you want to do is be able to self-scout yourself. So self-scouting is just basically being like, okay, well, who is this? We got Greg Newsome. What do we rate him? And if you rate him and you're doing self-scouting, you rate him as a guy who may be a 59 out of 100, you might want to do some extra things to hide him, especially on certain downs and distances, because they're going to go after that. And they consistently went after Thornhill. They consistently went after Greg Newsome, and it was nasty work. And when you don't have Myles Garrett or any pass rush getting home, you in trouble. You're in trouble. You are in trouble. We're going to get to some more of your comments. Gee, I really enjoy listening to you this season. Thank you. No, thank you, you guys. Thank you, you guys. I appreciate you, man. This has been a great season, because I think the Browns have taught us some things that we can continue to move by. The Browns have taught us that, just because guys go down, you got to pick up the mantle and carry the mantle. When your guy go down, pick it up, take it as far as you could take it, and then the next man take it as far as they can take it. And if you can consistently do that, you can always put yourself in a position that you can be successful. And I think the Browns gave it all they had, right? At some point, somebody's going to catch you slipping, and it just happened to be that today was the day going to catch us slipping. But what you can take away from that is to learn exactly how much it takes to win. So when this season come around, I want all y'all 357 people, whoever watched this video, remember, your goal as a fan is to put maximum pressure on the organization. Last year, not this year, but the year before, they punted on the season. They had no defensive tackles. They let Joe Woods call terrible game plans, and guess what? It got them. We did not make the playoffs. This year coming up, they got defensive tackles. They got Hurst. They brought in Dalvin Tomlinson. The defense was greatly improved, right? Then you got an opportunity. When Deshaun Watson got hurt, you went to DTR. You got a veteran. That was Joe Flacco. You got an opportunity. You saw what a veteran could do in there, and you still kept going. You kept going with Jerome Ford. You kept going. You brought back Kareem Hunt. You mixed and matched a hodgepodge of guys up front. Never forget this. Your job is to put maximum pressure on the organization. There is no such thing as punting. And at the end of the day, when it comes time to talking about free agents or receivers or whatever the case may be, I don't want to hear nobody say these dumb words. We don't need. Remember this feeling. Remember this 45-14 butt whooping. They kicked our butts, and the dudes that kicked our butts is 12 years old. You remind your neighbor, you remind your coworker at the watering hole at getting coffee. You remind your brother or your cousin that texts you all the time when rumors about the Browns getting somebody is out there. You remember this score when they tell you that dumbness, we don't need that person. I think we're just fine with DPJ. How'd that work out for you? Shut up. Shut your mouth. Just because you don't get nobody don't mean you conservatively good and you have more wisdom than everybody. I don't care about Jimmy Haslam's money. You think I care? He prints money, pay people. Well, gee, you're going to have to, you got to worry about the future. Everybody, no. We need receivers. We need to upgrade linebacker. We need to figure some things out. So when they come to you with that dumb stuff during free agency about we don't need X, Y, Z, you remind them how many people got hurt this year. You remember how many people got hurt for the year? All of them. We need to have a roster stacked to the point that we can get back to where we need to go. Remember that. And this is not my thing about Deshaun Watson or whatever. Deshaun, when you get back, I wish speedy recovery. But we're going to run this play action too. You need to learn how to get that footwork together on that play action. I don't care if you need to go to a camp with Joe Flacco and figure it out, because there's something that I learned from Joe Flacco. The play action still works. We're not going to be just putting you back in shotgun 100 times because you like it. You're going to work on this footwork and get this work. That's what we're going to do. It's time out for all that other stuff. It's time out for all that other stuff we're going to do with it. No. You, Elijah Moore, the David Bells, Amari Cooper is still going to be back here, but we need receivers. I don't care how you do it. And here's what I'm telling you. Don't you tell me nothing stupid about no big body receiver again. We need speed. I had a bunch of people jump, but Cedric Tillman got a big body. Cedric Tillman's body is so big. Shut up. Tell me about Cedric Tillman and his non-completing route self. I need somebody to get vertical that way. We always want the slow dudes. I don't want nobody slow like me. I want fast people. So when the fast people come up, G-Bush speed isn't everything. It is when you play receiver. Oh, God. These people. Man, Derek Ford, I appreciate you. I listen to you on the way to the shop each week, man. I appreciate you, bro. I really do. They fought a little bit. I don't know if at the end they fought a little bit. I mean, it was getting busy. Here's what I noticed with Watson when he played third consecutive game. He started to beat up and was close to elite. I think Watson can get to 5 consecutive games. He'll be good. He got to figure it out. He got to be able to stay on the field. Yeah, remember this, Cleveland. This is our house now. Hey, look, shout out to y'all. Y'all won. Magnificent Merker. Now y'all did y'all thing, man. Like I'm you ain't gonna catch me. Y'all did y'all's thing. CJ Stroud showed up, showed out. He did his thing. We got smacked. That's what we got. We got destroyed. Let's see. We got destroyed. What else we got here? Watson looking to his next deal already. That don't help us. Here's the thing. I don't know whether people think that they say stuff about Watson. Listen, if you say something so much about Watson, then magically he's going to be gone. No, he's your quarterback. It is what it is. You better hope he's good, because that's where we at right now. You better hope he's that guy. And let's be truthful. Let's not act like he wasn't lights out against the Ravens. And that's another thing people just be magically forgetting. This man went 14-14 with a broken shoulder and an ankle, and people acting like he didn't ball against the best team in the world. Come on. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. We're not going to do that. Let's see. Upgrading the GM. We can't upgrade the GM. Upgrading for Watson to CJ, man. Love my GM. That's great, man. It's great, bro. I appreciate you. Let's see what else we got in here. Soul Train. Just a reminder, CJ has the number 2 and has nothing to do with the picks from Cleveland. Plus, nobody really knew he was going to be as good as he is. I think this was a rebuttal to somebody talking about Watson. All right. Let me see. Just get a couple more in here. Yeah, I got that one. Okay, that's the picks. He was talking about the picks. There you go. There you go. All right, let's get a couple more in here, man. Get a couple more in there. Funny, listen to you go back on everything you said a week ago. Ha, your hypocrisy is hilarious. So here's the thing. There's no level of hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is being like, yeah, man, I think the Browns are going to win. And then I come in here and be like, you know what? The Texans cheated us. Yeah, the refs stole the game from us. It wasn't the fact that we lost. See, your name is armchair politics. That's what they do in politics, right? They just say, oh, listen, it was the Republicans or it was the Democrats who did it. Listen, you got to understand something about me. Before I did any of this, before I was even in an industry, I played the game. And one of the things that happened with the game is this. The game doesn't care about what you say about it. It's about being on the field and who makes the plays on the field. It don't matter what your religion is. It don't matter what your political differences are. Don't matter if you rich, if you poor, if you white, black, Chinese, Jewish, African. It don't matter. The only thing that matters is when you get on that field, is you ready? Is you tougher than me? You gonna tackle more than me? You gonna make the plays or you don't? That's what I'm married to. The Cleveland Browns didn't make those plays at all. The Houston Texans did. So there's no hypocrisy. You know what I stand on? I stand on the game, not to talk around the game, what happens in the middle of the field. And there's no narrative to be had. The Texans were the better team. So you should find this very refreshing, because the people that do these shows for a living, or the people that get a bunch of likes, they gaslight you. They sit up there and warm your shoulders, and then they tell you that what you did didn't count because we got fleeced. It wasn't even our fault. See, I actually take responsibility. I actually take accountability, and I am actually married to what happens on the field. So if you go to another YouTube channel, just remember, man, that dude from Cleveland, he wasn't all that bad. He talked a lot of trash, but when they got smoked, he said they got